I will be emceeing this program today. It is my immense pleasure to have this occasion to MC this event with such luminaries that you will see soon. Our event is focused on volunteerism in today's world. Of course, there will be people specifically speaking about volunteering, but let me put this in context. Why volunteer? We have so much to do in our work, in our families, in our interpersonal relationships. But you know, the world is not going according to the way that we want it to. If we don't make an intervention, it will go completely out of control. So volunteering is a collective activity. It is a coordinated activity. And we in Xena World are going to join in to lend our collective strength to take the world in the direction that we want it to, selflessly, with idealism, and with joy. With this, I open the event. Shana, will you please take the cue from here? Play the vision video. Thank you.
Sure. Can you please confirm if the screen is visible?
Yes.
Okay, let's start.
Well-being in physical. Xena World Vision Document. We are a family, bringing joy, happiness, prosperity in our lives and around by nurturing, encouraging, catalyzing, enabling 360-degree well-being in physical, intellectual, emotional, social, and economic dimensions. Our vision: abundance of joy, happiness, care, and prosperity for all. Our mission: we strive for alleviating pain, suffering, and poverty, encouraging unshackled-free thoughts, enabling dignified jobs and livelihood, nurturing close family bonding, seeking joy and happiness in the impact caused. Our values: passion, work with passion and from heart. Our values: humility, learning attitude, mutual respect, and open to listening to others. Our values: integrity, sincere, honest, and ethical principles. Our values: empathy, understand and feel others as your own. Our values: humanity, have compassion, brotherhood, fellow feeling, and kindness. Our values: joy, work that brings joy and value, diversity and inclusion. Our character: trust, belief, faith, and confidence in self and in others, from where love and compassion emanate. Our character: virtue, high moral values, patience, consideration, trustworthiness, and forgiveness. Our character: transparency, honesty, openness, and not guarded. Thank you.
Thank you. I'm going to take a few minutes to explain the purpose of this event and its attempted takeaway. Let me just say that in today's world, we happen quite by accident to be working at cross purposes. My ambition, my values for my family, my aspirations, my political intent, my engagement with society may not be the same as yours. It seems that my well-being comes at the expense of your well-being. My family values come because your family values are different, so I need to emphasize mine. Where is this going to lead us? We are going to be confused. We are going to not reap the benefit of what we are as members of society. We need to align that which we are doing for the well-being of our society. Where do we want the society to go? Where do we want Xena to go? In order to align this, we need to understand what it means to volunteer and to volunteer collectively. When we volunteer collectively, the effort, the collective effort that we put in will be, the whole will be greater than the sum of the parts. I keep saying this, the whole should be greater than the sum of the parts. If I volunteer just in my little world, and you're volunteering to do something quite different from me, and I'm not aware of what each is doing, we are defeating each other's purpose. So we need to volunteer in the best spirit of what the world needs, and we need alignment. This event is to clarify how this alignment can be achieved, and you will hear from different speakers who've been very well versed in volunteering, and yet we have not been conscious of what they're doing. So how can we siphon from what they've done, what they're doing, and what they will do to enhance this organization in light of the vision video that you recently watched? This will be, of course, a model and a paradigm for how our various other groups and organizations within Xena World can emulate, can do better, or can learn from what we are trying to do. So treat this as an exercise in setting an example. We are very lucky to have amongst us very, very distinguished people, and we will be hearing their introductions shortly. So you see that the event will unfold as follows. There will be a keynote welcome address. There will be a strong memories and milestones video, very short. There will be a need of having chapters, and there will be a proliferation of what these chapters are doing. There will be the importance and understanding of volunteering by Priyanka Manjari. And in the end of it all, we will have an open discussion. You may call it a question answer session, clarification. Where do we go from here? How do we become a whole rather than individual people playing individual instruments? This will have to become a grand symphony. And this is how we will end. At the end, there will be the vote of thanks and the Xena anthem at the very end. Any questions about how I have delineated this meeting's working forward? Great. Shana,
Yes.
I'm handing on over to you. You need to introduce the keynote speaker. Thank you.
Sure. So this is the screen. So will I read out or the MC will?
I will read it out. Yeah, I'm sorry. Our keynote speaker is Praful Kumar Chaudhary. Let me resort to my notes. I have his intro in front of me, but I'll divert from it a little bit, mainly because I want to emphasize that Mr. Chaudhary, he's been a very active volunteer in his professional life. His professional life was in the railways, and in this situation, he undertook the organization of the workers' union, welfare for women, etc., etc. But this didn't just start with his career in the Indian Railways. Mr. Chaudhary has an MTech in Civil Engineering Structures from IIT Kanpur. He joined the Indian Railways in 1983 after clearing the engineering exams, UPSC exam in 1985. In this, he was 21st in rank in the national standing, a very great honor indeed. But there's something that goes before his career. Even at a very young age, he was volunteering in relief work in Patna, flood relief, social work, etc. And it is this commitment to volunteer work that later flowered in his career. So we need to understand from Mr. Praful Kumar Chaudhary's career and his life that we begin in a small way, we then expand it wherever we are. In the leadership position we may have as career people, we draw from what we did as children, as young adults, as working people. We gather up all the strings of our various lives and we take them forward. And this is what Mr. Chaudhary has done commendably. This is my immense gratitude and pride to have him as our keynote speaker. Thank you.
Didi, just one slight correction.
Yes.
Pratul Bhaiya is the speaker of the day. Keynote speaker is Shana.
I'm sorry. Okay.
Keynote. No, it's okay. So just that the keynote thing Shana will present, and then thereafter Pratul Bhaiya's introduction is already done, so he can just take the talk.
All right.
So you just have to do the introduction of Shana and ask her for the keynote. That's all.
Okay. It is a bit daunting to introduce a person like Shana, a student of grade 7. In a way, she's already taken a leadership role amongst us. And I'm a little bit in awe of her and her expertise with computers, with coordinating so many participants. Let us not just be taken in by the fact that she's a young girl, very charming girl. We have to understand she is a future leader. She has a lot of interest in public speaking. She has spoken already as a keynote speaker on another Xena event. She has also created websites, started businesses, done entrepreneurship courses. She's an intern currently, and she's in the future interested in artificial intelligence. This combination of factors is indeed going to take her very, very far. We are so proud of you, Shana Bhattacharya.
Thank you, Poonam Aunty, for such a wonderful introduction. I shall start with my keynote address. Can everyone confirm, please, if my screen is visible? I guess it's visible. Okay, so I'll start with it. Xena world. I'm here because I choose to live by choice, not by chance, to make changes, not excuses, to be motivated, not manipulated, to be useful, not used, to excel, not compete. I choose self-esteem, not self-pity. I choose to listen to my inner voice, not the random opinions of others. And I'm very thankful for the foundation to give me such a wonderful opportunity to speak in front of such a large audience. The objective of Xena Outreach Foundation, social program integrator and aggregator. So now I'll introduce our host for today, which is Dr. Poonam Arora. Dr. Arora retired in 2017 as the Associate Dean of the College and Rosenfield Chair for Diversity and the Liberal Arts at Grinnell College in the US. She did her PhD in English and Film Studies from SUNY Binghamton. Her career began with teaching film and literature at the University of Michigan, Dearborn in 1989. She then expanded her teaching, research, and administrative service as be the chair of the Humanities Department to all of the humanities disciplines. From 2007 to 2009, she was the Associate Dean of the College of Arts and Sciences at Zayed University in Abu Dhabi, UAE. Here, she facilitated the development of a liberal arts curriculum for a young and affluent nation by its women students. Dr. Arora has turned her experience in teaching the humanities into policies and practices for strengthening the liberal arts through social justice, equity, and diversity in higher education in the US, the Middle East, and now India. She received her school and college education at Delhi Public School, Mathura Road, and St. Stephen's College, Delhi. As Senior Vice President at Xena Global Family Foundation and Xena World, she is focused on building a strong civil society committed to addressing the problems of contemporary India within a post-COVID and global context. She's currently working on a book tentatively titled The Indic Liberal Arts for the 21st Century, Policy, Prospects, and Problematics. Let me now start with my keynote address. Today, I'll firstly be talking about altruism. So, altruism is the unselfish concern for other people, doing things simply out of a desire to help, not because you feel obligated to out of duty, loyalty, or religious reasons. It involves acting out of concern for the well-being of other people. In simpler words, we can say altruism is the principle and moral practice of concern for happiness of other human beings or other animals, resulting in a quality of life, both material and spiritual. Altruism is also when we act to promote someone else's welfare, even at a risk or cost to ourselves. Evolutionary scientists speculate that altruism has such deep roots in human nature because helping and cooperation promote the survival of our species. Altruism refers to the behavior that benefits another individual at a cost to oneself. Let me now give you an example for the better understanding of the term. Giving your lunch away is altruistic. Why? Because it helps someone who is hungry. But when you share a food with someone else, there is a cost of being hungry yourself. But another problem is too much altruism can actually be a bad thing. Too much altruism is when people take altruism to the extreme and hit a point when their actions cause more harm than good. Some common examples of harmful altruism include animal hoarding and the depression of the healthcare professionals. The basic principle of altruism is that man has no right to exist for his own sake. That service to others is only justification of his existence. And that self-sacrifice is his highest moral duty, virtue, and value. According to a doctrine called psychological egoism, all human action is ultimately motivated by self-interest. According to the psychological egoist, we do not care about others for their sake. Altruism, in other words, does not exist in humans. Owing humanity is necessary. Helping others make us feel good instead of feeling sad. Let me tell you a quote, which is said by Martin Luther King Jr. Everybody can be great because anybody can serve. You don't have to have a college degree to serve. You don't have to make your subject and your verb agree to serve. You even don't have to know the second theory of thermodynamics in physics to serve. You only need a heart full of grace, a soul generated by love. Volunteers do not necessarily have the time, they just have the heart. This is said by Elizabeth Andrew. Volunteers are the only human beings on the face of the earth who reflect this nation's compassion, unselfish caring, patience, and just plain loving for another. And let me tell you the real definition of volunteer. A person who donates his time and efforts for a cause or organization without being paid. Let us now come to the volunteerism. What can volunteering provide to us? It can provide a healthy boost to our self-confidence, self-esteem, and life satisfaction. We are doing good for others and the community, which provides a natural sense of accomplishment. Our role as a volunteer can also give us a sense of pride and identity. Volunteering allows us to connect to a community and make it a better place. And volunteering is a two-way street. It can benefit you and your family as much as the cause you choose to help. Dedicating your time as a volunteer helps you make new friends, expand your network, and boost your social skills. Volunteering provides many benefits to both mental and physical health. Volunteering helps counteract the effects of stress, anger, and anxiety. The social contact aspect of helping and working with others can have a profound effect on your overall psychological well-being. Volunteering, whether at home or abroad, gives you the chance to contribute to the kind of community and the world you want to live in every day. It gives you the opportunity to be a part of something bigger than yourself and use your own skills and knowledge to assist in the empowerment of people all across the globe. Let me now come to the benefits of volunteerism. First comes gaining confidence. Now you must be thinking becoming a volunteer doesn't mean gaining confidence by any means. But yes, being volunteer is not a great job. But as a volunteer, if you try to make changes in everyone's lives, it makes it a great job. Just becoming a volunteer and having no skills is very easy. Even now, I can go and become a volunteer. But when we don't know what skills are to be there, it makes the job of a volunteer uncertain. Confidence is a great key to success, as well as being volunteer needs a lot of confidence. Why? Confidently dealing with certain types of people makes you more confident. In simpler words, you need to start trying to deal with different kinds of people to make yourself confident as a volunteer. Next comes making a difference. Now, being a volunteer, we need to make difference in everyone's lives. The people who need help, volunteers need to go and make a difference in their lives. Making them live differently is what being a volunteer means, certainly. Next comes meeting people. Now, when we go across the world, we become volunteer. Now, we need to meet different kinds of people. As I said, volunteering confidence increases the moment we deal with different kinds of people. Making them happy and returning joy to their lives makes the difference. And also, seeing their happy faces makes us happy. Next comes taking on a challenge. What is the challenge in being a volunteer? So here we have the challenge to solve the problems of various types of people. How do we help them? Now that's our own way. How can we help them as being a volunteer? Also depends on the problem they're having. And here another challenge we have is making everyone happy by helping them solve their own problems. Next is ability to work with people different from us. When we have different people on our side, we can interact with them. There are more experts in different things. Everyone has unique ability. Here, when we talk with them, we meet them, then we can have the ability to work with the people who are different from us. We can learn what the good habits they have. Learning things from different types of people makes the better understanding between each others. As everyone throughout have different abilities, which can also help the volunteers learn something good from them. On behalf of Pratul Kumar Chaudhary, President, and Mukambika Rathinam, Vice President, Xena Outreach Foundation, and all esteemed members of the foundation, we heartily welcome everyone present here today. We hope you'll enjoy the session as it unfolds. Thank you.
You have to unmute. You have to unmute yourself, Didi. Yeah.
And in the meantime, can I ask everyone to switch on their videos?
Am I audible?
Yes, Auntie, you're audible.
Okay, great. I want to thank you for your very inspiring talk. I say to my students, only those students who teach me something get an A in my course. Shana, you've earned an A grade from me. Go right ahead.
Thank you so much. Yeah, I'm going ahead. Can you please tell me who is the next speaker so I can get it in front of me?
Next, we have the Strong Memories and Milestones intro by Shibani Satpathy Das.
Okay, here's the intro for her.
Shana, am I or are you?
I guess you need to do it as you're the MC.
Okay. Can you put the write up on the screen, please?
Yeah. Is the screen visible?
Yes, it is visible.
Okay.
I got it. My absolute delight and pleasure in introducing Shibani Satpathy Das. She's a homemaker, has done a master's in psychology, and possesses an immense love for art and culture. Blessed with a loving family and staying in Kolkata, she's the wife of a civil servant who's serving in Kolkata. She has traveled the length and breadth of West Bengal during transfers and postings of her husband. She has 2 children, both are settled in their own fields. Shana loves painting, experimenting new recipes, and she takes a keen interest in the not-for-profit activities that expand her world and will now expand ours. We want to extend our support and our best capacities to her. I hand over to Shana and therefore the mic and spotlight on Shibani Satpathy Das. Thank you.
Thank you, Poonam Didi.
Shana, you can play the video, please.
Video, please. Yeah.
I'll switch on the video. Is my screen visible clearly?
Yes.
Okay, I'll start with it.
मोबाइल पे रखना लॉगिन कर Beautiful. Hello. Can I audible?
You're audible. You're audible.
Yes.
I'm audible? Huh.
Yes, you-
Am I audible?
Yes, you
are.
Okay. Okay, Sarah, kindly please share the screen, please.
Okay. The video screen, right?
Yeah. No, video screen. That's outer foundation.
Can you please tell me which screen?
The write-up screen. The write-up screen that you had
Yeah,
made.
right up the screen. Yeah. No, not
This
this.
is the green colored write-up that you had made.
Yeah, this one. Yes.
You can see your phone and you can say also.
এখানে দেখা যাচ্ছে। Okay. Xena Autis Foundation has deliberately positions itself at the confluence of trust, faith, and confidence. Why and how have we done this? We function through trust in the evolving best judgment of our collective membership. We have faith that the design and the implementation of our vision will be in the best interest of our family's civic and spiritual growth. Finally, we have confidence that despite our individual handicaps and weaknesses, collectively, our small working groups will be deliver a much needed flip to our memories, civics, engagement, relief from our society's pain points, and not least, a growth in our non-material and emotional well-being and happiness. It is this scare in confluence of trust, faith, and confidence in our comprehensive and varied strength that will earn us a reputation for impact, accountability, and altruism within our areas of operations. That's all. Thank you.
Yes, Pratul Bhaiya, I think your introduction has already been done. So you can start with your talk. You have to unmute. Pratul Bhaiya, you have to unmute yourself and you can
Unmute,
start.
yes, yes. I think I'm audible now. Are you able to listen to me? Yeah.
Yes, yes.
Okay. Okay. So, good evening. Very good evening, ladies and gentlemen. My introduction has been given by Poonam Didi in such a nice way. I'm really thankful to her for that. Now I will start my today's talk. I will start with, this. There is one book, The Selfish Gene. It's by Richard Dawkins. So if you go through this book, it defines how our genes, how it wants to propagate itself. And our behavior, natural behavior, is guided by, how efficiently you can transfer your gene to your progeny. And in that process, the bisexual process of this, where both the partners share their genes, and then it is passed on to the progeny. So the chances of survival was better. So this type of system was adopted. Now, all our behavior, natural behavior, is all governed by that. And it maximizes the chances of survival. So what you called altruism and all those things, everything is there in that. It is not in our human beings, it is there in all other living beings. But the difference lies, where is the difference? The difference is that as we go higher in the level of intelligence, you see, any animal or bird, they are all intelligent. They possess certain amount of intelligence. But as a human being, probably we have the maximum. So we can modify our behavior to a large extent. So this ability of ours, that makes the difference. And therefore our behavior sometimes, it becomes unpredictable and is not according to a set pattern. Now, coming to the value system which we have in our society, it's not that other animal species, they don't have their social rules and all that. Some of them have very, strict rules which they have to follow. And they have different groups have different types of, discipline. Those rules. Like a wild dogs, they have their different, rules. Similarly, elephants, they have their different rules. They also, do rituals which we were not knowing. Elephants are doing rituals also. There are some other animals who also do it. And then you have this black faced monkeys. They also have that their own system. So as human beings, actually, the value system which we inculcate is not simply governed by our genes. It also comes from in which type of environment we are brought up and what are our immediate needs. So depending on that, it has impact on you. And once you start believing in a particular value system, then it becomes difficult for you to change that to some other value system. So taking advantage of this, somebody can, suggest you to go into trance, get hypnotized, and when you get hypnotized, then you are suggested to murder somebody. Will you murder? That depends on whether your value system permits it or not. So before that, hypnotization, your value system has to be changed to make you ready to kill that person. If you can brainwash that fellow, that is the best job in the world, that is most rewarding job, or that is good for humanity and something like that, then that man will not hesitate in killing the target. So this type of, value system is very deep. It is not superficial. It is very deep in our psyche. So for that, that's why to come out of any bad value system, it takes a lot of time. So in our society, unfortunately, in India, what I find that our value system, whatever be the region, our value system is very, very low. And we have to strive hard to come out. And this is the sole reason for all types of miseries we have. Our representatives who go, they also come from the same value system. And sometimes they are having even worse value system. And they are governing us. So this is creating problem. So as a responsible citizen, we have to do something for the society. And that important thing is, there is a lot of disparity, as you can see. There are many poor chaps. They are financially neglected. They are being from a low caste, which is another, great problem in India. This casteism, which was not there. Originally, India was not having casteism, because the Buddhism, or if you go to Sindhu Ghati civilization and all that, Indus civilization, everywhere you will find that there is no such stratification in the society. But unfortunately, somehow this Brahminical religion, which has now become very, very important for us, it emphasizes on different castes. And this caste system has created a lot of problems, especially for those who are very, very neglected. And they had to live a life of hell. They are not, unfortunately, able to tell what type of problems they have faced. Like there used to be, I think many of you may be knowing that the Dalit women, they were not supposed to cover their breasts. And if they wanted to cover their breasts, it is a fact, there was a rule for that. And if they wanted to cover their breasts, then in that case, they were required to pay tax on that. So one lady, she refused to follow that. It happened in South. So that lady, very famous lady, that lady refused to follow that rule. Then they were after the higher caste people, they were after her. But ultimately, she did not relent. And when there was a lot of pressure on her, finally she cut her breasts and brought it. Take it as my tax. And after that, she did not survive. So this type of horrible situation was there in our country. And it is still there. So why a person, he's also or she's also a human being, why he or she should be treated like that? So such people, whether they are financially deprived or socially deprived, they have to be uplifted. Government has got responsibility as a welfare state to do work for them. Government collects taxes, and those taxes have to be utilized for that purpose so that maximum number of people get educated, their health is taken care of, and they become good citizens and contribute for the progress of the country. But unfortunately, no government has paid any attention to it. In fact, due to selfish interests, in fact, you can say that to some extent, Jawaharlal Nehru, he had that vision and he wanted, and that's why he did not permit capitalism fully. He wanted a mixed economy, capitalism plus some amount of socialism. And that was, our constitution was framed in that manner. Dr. Ambedkar also, contributed, everybody knows that what type of India all of them wanted. But unfortunately now, in the name of, capitalism and that crony capitalism, everything is going to dogs. No government is, every government, is reducing the budget expenditure on education and health measures, and also, roads and sewerage system and other things. So what is to be done then? Because government is not doing what government is supposed to do. So we as responsible citizens, and we can definitely do something in this area. We can contribute a lot to make their lives, they can fulfill what they want. They should be given proper opportunity, and we can help in this regard, whatever resources we have. So our organization, we can fund ourselves, we can get funds from others to go for such activities. But our activities must be focused towards majority of the people, not just, holding some seminars and giving lectures here and there. We have to work in the field. We have to devote time for that. So there are many things like environmental concerns. Nobody is bothered. The government, the capitalists, whatever they are not worried about the environment and what is the bad effect it is going to have. You can go and see the rivers. The Ganga River, for example, is so polluted. Still, it is so polluted. And in the name of cleaning of Ganga and all that, lots of money is being wasted. Nothing is coming out. I don't think Ganga cleaning anything has been done so far, in spite of giving paying cess for that. We are paying cess for this cleaning of rivers and all that, Ganga and all that. In fact, truly speaking, some work was started by Rajiv Gandhi. After that, that also was a failure ultimately, and nothing has been done since then. So how can the industries be allowed to discharge their effluents, which are very, very toxic? They are directly discharged into the river. Sewer lines of the municipalities and all, they are all going into the river. So this type of situation is there. So we have to, if we want to really work, there is so much of so many things to be done that it cannot be done by a small group. So a central body has been formed, say for example, Xena Outreach Foundation. But this particular group with so many, very few members, it cannot work. And India is a very, very vast country. So we have to have different, under this umbrella organization, we have to have some chapters in different places. So regional, that's why there is a need for your regional chapters in different states. And for that, again, some sort of some election or something can be done where some people will be holding different types of responsibilities. And since there are so many things to be done, so therefore this group has to be gradually, it has to be spread over entire India. So this type of, if we really want to work, so much work is to be done. And for that, naturally, we have to find volunteers also, on which how to go about it, on which I think Priyanka, she will be telling something. So from my side, I think I'm able to convince that why different, regional chapters are required and how much of responsibility we have. And what works we have to do, I think we had exercised our minds, and Poonam Didi had noted down all the important items. I hope that is available when we met in that hotel, Oberoi Hotel. So if that is there, I think we should start working on those topics, because it's only simply discussing and all that, and after that it is left out. So we have to do something about it. Thank you all. I will ask for some questions. I think second, this thing is whatever I have told, if anybody has to discuss, ask question, interactive type of question session.
Thank you, Chaudhary Sahab. Inspired indeed by your example of how we can volunteer to clean up our rivers. There are actually people working on campaigns of cleaning up the rivers, but we've got to start within a very small concentric circle that involves my family, my neighborhood, my community, my workplace, etc. And only then can we move towards larger arenas, because there will also be a lot of opposition. We make it sound as though if we decided to do something voluntarily that is good for society, that everybody will let us do it. Unfortunately, that's not the case. I may try to do a lot of things. I will face a lot of opposition because there are vested interests that want to make me fail. And that therein lies the problem. We'll get to more of this in our interactive session at the end of this all. Let me now call upon Priyanka Manjari, and she will maybe concretize some of the issues that we face. Shana, can I please have the write-up about Priyanka Manjari on the screen? Yeah, thank you. Priyanka Manjari is a self-regulated humanist, a double master's in business administration and politics. She has learned French and Spanish out of her own interest. An essentially excellent expert in public relations, leadership, administration, and coordination, she has more than a decade and a half of working experience in civil society, associated with various non-governmental organizations to guide, suggest, coordinate issues of concern. Currently working with India Habitat Center, an elite organization that provides a physical environment to serve as a catalyst for a synergistic relationship between individuals and institutions. She is working in diverse habitat-related areas and therefore maximizing their total effectiveness. Priyanka's strength is based on dealing with the course of life that comes her way. With this introduction, may I hand over to Priyanka Manjari. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Poonam ma'am, for such a good introduction, crisp introduction of mine. Thanks a lot. Today, I'm supposed to speak on importance of volunteering. While speaking, I may ask questions from the audience, from the participants. I hope that will be okay for the participants, or I just need to speak.
No, you can ask questions from my side.
As interactive as you would like.
Okay, thank you so much. So first, let me know who all believe that the more we give, the happier we feel. Can you raise your hands?
Reactions.
Fine. It means that's really very good. It means most of us believe in kindness, an attribute that is a must for humanity. Volunteering is directly proportionate to humanity and eventually kindness. Those who extend helping hands to anyone, those who are in need, whether a needy person or organization or even corporates, are volunteers. Though we know what it means, but let us remind ourselves about its definition once again. Can you please tell me, Shana had spoken about the definition of volunteering. So I hope you all know about it. If someone has some different definition, can you please let me know? Anyone from the participants? Okay, so let me read it for you all. In simple words, we can say that a person who does something, especially helping other people willingly without being paid to do it, is volunteering. It means he is helping others with all his heart. Giving time and energy in the speedy life is something very tough. It seems an impossible job, but if we think sincerely and seriously, volunteering gives more benefits to the giver than the receiver. The receiver here can be community, person, organization, or anyone, anything or anyone. And giver is a volunteer. In some countries, it is mandatory to volunteer being a student to go to higher level of education or profession. It is mandatory to have volunteering experience if we, an Indian citizen, apply abroad for higher education. It is such mandatory reasons volunteering is becoming an important service to one's life. When someone volunteers, he or she connects with others, makes new friends and contacts, increase social and relationship skills that binds human together. A volunteer gets food for mind and body, which means she gets medium to overcome stress, anger, and there are many other regions that Shana had explained in her presentation. It really has profound effect on psychological well-being as spoken by Shana. It also helps in advancing career as during the period of volunteering, a person gets working experience that may help in shaping future. A volunteer gets fulfillment of life and shapes his creativity and becomes a visionary in future. What all comes in mind when one thinks of volunteering? Any comment, please? What all comes in your mind when you think of volunteering?
Helping others.
Pardon? Come again?
Helping others.
Yes, very good. Helping others. It means you have loving heart, caring, devoted, committed, have patience. There are many associated things that comes in mind when we talk of volunteering. So a study showed that approximately 2.9 million people in the age group of 16 to 25 volunteered during the year 2015. Now you can well consider with the change in technology, the number must have been multifold. This shows that people understand the value of volunteering. Tell me if you wish in one line, what is important for you? What is important for you when you think of volunteering? What do you think?
I think
No
it's
reply?
important to start a bigger group to make it more pervasive. Individual volunteering is good, but it cannot have the impact we want it to have on society.
Absolutely, perfectly well said, ma'am. So it is important because it offers needed and essential help to people in need and causes of the community. Many big problems, whether it's health or any other problems, has been achieved by volunteering. I mean, people, they do crowdfunding and they raise a lot of, huge amount to treat cancer patients or, illness like such. So the volunteering is that important. In other words, in other hand, it is naturally benefiting to the volunteers. If we give, we receive. As we combat depression in technology-based lonely life, we get help in reducing our day-to-day stress. We also gain the understanding of sense of purpose. I mean, when we volunteer, we feel, we understand, we observe while volunteering what is the purpose that we are helping someone or some cause. So one should not have the dilemma of its association being a volunteer. It is also important in terms of making connection and become friends of many. We meet people from different places, different walks of life, different age groups and different thinking pattern, and we learn from them. So volunteering is important in that context as well. Now, how many of you volunteered for someone or something? If you have done, that's really very good. If you haven't, please go for it. I have been volunteering many times. I have volunteered many times. I have been volunteering for various causes and will continue till I live my last breath. And I'm telling you, when you volunteer for something, it is ultimate satisfaction feeling. I don't know if you have felt the same I have felt, but it is ultimate satisfaction. It gives happiness to your soul. If you have not done this, I suggest please go for it, and as sooner the better is my suggestion. As Shana had explained in her presentation, that it also boosts self-confidence and self-esteem. It is very true. If you volunteer, you gain experience. If you are hesitant, you reduce that hesitation and become more confident. It is not only me saying so, but the research says the same. A study from Brigham Young University and the University of Missouri examined how sharing and helping others impacted their self-esteem. This study was done on 700 students of age group 11 to 14. So it is surprising that this habit of helping others in various countries are there in young age itself. Our country lack, I think our country lacks such habit or such kind of understanding that at very young age, parents, either parents or teachers, need to inculcate this kind of teaching in the students. Volunteering helps in person remain healthy and mentally fit. So it is not only giving you physical health, it is giving you mental health. It is very clear from the our points that volunteering gives many benefits, from mental and physical health to making friends, and from giving sense of purpose to boost self-confidence. Just go for it whenever you get chance and gain the experience of importance of volunteering. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Priyanka Manjari. Let's get to the very crux of our conversation. If volunteering is so wonderful, it gives us confidence, it gives us self-esteem, it earns the respect of people, it gets done the work that elected, appointed governments, civic organizations are not doing. Why is it that so few of us are volunteering? What's getting in the way?
See, I think the most important issue on this is that we lack awareness. We need to teach. I mean, there has to be social teaching has to be part of the curriculum of mainstream education, that one needs to volunteer for the goodness of the society and goodness of self. So I think lack of awareness is something that is really there as an obstacle, that people are not going for volunteering as much as they should. I think that is the most important problem.
I'd like to invite input from others in the audience. What do you think? Anybody? Why is there so little volunteering? Let's say, let me take the example of the city that I live in, Delhi, for instance. Why so little volunteering goes on in a place like Delhi? Anybody?
Because people are becoming lazy.
Lazy.
Not so.
I think they don't have much confidence, so they don't want to take it.
It should be started from home, school, and college also. Children only study and go home. They have friends. They won't do anything. Teacher, parents, they can encourage children for this thing. If the parent doesn't do that, how can children? We have to give
That's true.
example.
That's true. But parents have left the business of education, formal and informal, to schools. And schools are under so much pressure to prepare the children for this exam or that exam, or this quarterly report and that half-yearly report and board exams, etc., etc. Where in the agenda of education, I'm speaking education broadly, where does volunteering fit in, if anywhere? Anybody who's from education would like to say what time, space, resources, energy, incentive, aspiration do we place on volunteering? Yes, Nisha?
Can I give you a small example? A very small example. I used to teach long back at St. Anne, and there we'll ask children to bring a small gift, a soap, a hanky, anything they brought. And once in a month, our headmistress took the children, all the school with the staff. We went to the old age home, the children home, and we gave this to them. एंड रियली बच्चे बहुत खुश होते थे और एक अच्छा हम टाइम वहां गुजारते थे. वो जमा करते रहते थे पूरे महीने कि हम क्या लेके जाएंगे. जब वो क्लास में रखते थे तो हम कहते थे नहीं ये पुराना है, इतना पुराना नहीं देना बेटा, कुछ भी लाओ, तो क्योंकि हम जिसको देंगे ना वो यूज करेगा, खराब चीज नहीं देते. तो वो वापस ले जाते थे, थोड़े दिन के बाद फिर कुछ नया लेके आते थे। तो एटलीस्ट हमें सिखाना पड़ता है बच्चों को ही सिखाएंगे, बड़े होके वही तो सारी आगे सब दुनिया वही चलाएंगे, है ना। बीज तो बोना ही पड़ेगा।
ये बीज तो बोना ही पड़ेगा। अब तो मुझे ऐसे लगता है कि वो बीज बोने की जगह वो बीज ही खो गया है। इतने हम सेल्फिश हो गए हैं, इतने हम सेल्फ सेंटर्ड हो गए हैं कि उस बीज को मट्टी में लगाने, उसके ऊपर पानी देना, उसको धूप मिले, उसकी गोडी करें, उसकी सफाई करें, वो तो बाद की बात है। हमारे हाथ से वो बीज ही निकल गया है। Does somebody agree? When I was in school, in high school, my school had a program of taking children on the weekends to a village nearby in Delhi. It was called Jaunpur village. And we used to go there and we used to clean the streets because the village did not have sanitation facilities. We showed them how to clean the drains so that the water would flow, how to pick up the garbage, how to arrange for the pickup of garbage from house to house, how to sort out the garbage. This is garbage that can be burnt. This is garbage that cannot be burnt. This is garbage that can be recycled. This is garbage that can be made into fertilizer, etc., etc. And we did that one weekend in a month, all year round. I don't know what has happened to such projects. There is so much emphasis on exams and performance and competition that, like I said, that seed of activity that we used to do and derive so much satisfaction from it, how can we bring back that seed? Anybody else in the audience who hasn't spoken would like to contribute from their experience or their insights into this subject?
Hello. Hello. Am I
Could you
audible?
please- yes.
Yes. This is Arundhati speaking.
Hello.
I just wanted to add something, that is this whole issue of somehow the academic pressure mounting has taken place, let us say, in the last decade or so. And something which comes to my mind is that I see it as one of the disadvantages of technology as well, because somehow, since everybody has access to internet and mobile phones, people are getting an idea about how living or life is in cities, which is why people are wanting to move towards cities more and more. And somehow people dream of a luxury life, which is not, I mean, it might be out of their reach, but they still dream about that, which is why everybody is in some kind of a rat race. And because of population explosion, seats are limited, jobs are limited, and everybody is running after their own settlement. That's just something which is why these kind of activities are not given priority to, because they are thought of as, let us suppose, a wastage of time which can be invested in doing some work that can get them some earning, like an internship in schools. Earlier, people used to think about internships, let us say, in college, second year or third year. Nowadays, even school students are looking for internships. I remember when I was in school and there was this summer break of a couple of months, I would have enjoyed and spent time with family. And let us say I'm staying in Delhi, I'll go to Calcutta, to my hometown, and I'll visit people. I'll go from home to home, or we'll go on a long holiday. Right now, that is also decreasing because everybody is in there is some sense of urgency in life that is being instilled in even school students. That's just my personal opinion.
Yeah, there is some great truth to that. Although, let me take issue with one expression that you had, that a density of population and an explosion in our population has led to greater competition. My question is, if there are more people here than have found meaningful employment or work. Why is our population explosion not feeding into volunteerism? There's so many of us, but we're all only competing for jobs. Why are we not going into volunteering? I understand we all have to make a living. We all must have money in our banks coming from a source that is reliable, etc. But in addition to a source of money, we must find a source of satisfaction. A job is never the be all and end all of life. We need to find a place where we find meaning, besides meaning that we get from work or study or whatever. So, anybody have any ideas about what is the relationship between population explosion and volunteerism or lack thereof? Anybody? I don't want to act like a teacher in a classroom. Everyone is looking down and I should pick on somebody. I don't want to pick on anybody, but I'm sure that many of us have experiences where experience or exposure or access to numbers of people can be converted into volunteer opportunities.
May I say something on this?
Absolutely.
Actually, I don't think that population explosion type of thing, that problem is there in India. Basically, it is our strength. We have the maximum, percentage of our population in the younger group, and we have a lot of potential to do lot many things. The problem lies somewhere else, and it is diverse side. Population is not a problem. Problem is that, as I have been telling, the value system, we lack value system. Why we don't volunteer? Because we don't feel like that. We are selfish. We only want that we should get the best. And in that process, if somebody is harmed, that is that doesn't matter. We don't work for the mutual benefit, for the benefit of the whole of the society. We are very short-sighted in our approach. The schools also, why they are doing like that? Because they have got such an frame of mind, and they are acting accordingly. We also studied during our young days in schools. At that time, why there was so much of bunyadi shiksha and this, that, in addition to what we studied. There was some sense to that, but those things are gone. No government school. We studied in government school. There were no private schools like what we have now. In Delhi, of course, there used to be some schools, but in our Bihar and other places, I think only the best schools were government schools only. Like Jila school or district school, getting admitted into that used to be a very, very tough thing. So if you are a student of Jila school, that means you are a very, very good student. Then only you get admitted into that. Now see the condition now. Same Jila school, now what is the condition there?
Exactly.
So why this type of deterioration?
India's problems are compounded by its population is a myth that needs to be exploded. China, which has a larger population than us, is looking to revive its population of young people. It is giving incentives to young people now to have children because they have an aging population. They have more old people than can be managed by the younger people's work and professions. India has a young population, vibrant young population of healthy people that are energetic, inspired, or potentially can be inspired, but we are treating them as a liability rather than an asset. Young people are an asset. Look at our young representative here today, Shana. She's
Yeah.
blown my mind.
Just
I mean,
see
why?
how
So we have millions and millions of Shanas and boys like her. We are not tapping into that reserve. We are directing them into the wrong places. कि सिर्फ पढ़ाई करो, सिर्फ अच्छे स्कूल में जाओ, अच्छे कॉलेज में जाओ, बहुत अच्छी नौकरी करो, खूब सारे पैसे कमाओ और पैसे से अच्छी अच्छी चीजें खरीदो और अच्छी अच्छी चीजों से अपनी जिंदगी बनाओ. जिसके पास पैसा है वो बताएगा कि अच्छी अच्छी चीजों से खुशी नहीं मिलती है. अच्छी अच्छी चीजें बस अच्छी अच्छी चीजें ही रह जाती हैं. कुछ टाइम के बाद उससे हमारा मन ऊब जाता है. Sorry to lapse into Hindi, but the resources that we have, we are not using them. We are not connecting the spirit of volunteerism to the potential volunteers that are existing right around us in every neighborhood. There are scores of people that can be tapped into this, but they're not, it's not being done because there is no inspiration and there are no leaders that can bring this about. And so the value of an organization like Xena World. I keep saying we are sitting on a gold mine of well-intentioned people, well, good people have to cultivate the volunteers. I would like questions and comments from other participants. Anybody else would like to raise their hand or speak up? Bring yourself to my attention, please. I can't see you all. I can only see who's present. So help me with calling on you. Don't want to do it as a punishment, want to do it as an opportunity.
So, can I add?
I like to put in a few words here. Basically,
Yes.
volunteers in India are not very happy to do the volunteering because there is no incentive behind it. Unless they get some incentive, they will not volunteer. Except for the exception is there for the political parties. That's all.
But volunteering means without incentive. One
Yeah,
has to
but
do it
in-
from heart.
but I'm
It
talking
has
about
to be there in our
I'm
heart,
talking
which is
about
not
the
there.
Indian population. They
One
need
at a
incentive.
time, please.
I'm talking about the Indian population. They need incentive. Unless they get an incentive, they don't volunteer.
So the incentive that political parties give is recognition, the possibility of future leadership. Why can we not do that? We can also give incentives of leadership, and we can enhance that leadership within the organizations that we belong to, or organizations that we create, or this organization that we have created. We are giving incentives. We have two very smart young people behind the scenes. Shana is one and Shivan is another.
Sushim.
Soshim is another. Why are there not more young people here volunteering to do the work? I'm asking this question.
I encourage my child to do that. I keep, pushing him, do it, do it, do it. Not only at one place, at many places.
Because you're the mother, so you guide him. But not all the mothers guide their children.
That is problem, sir. That is very well said. That is a problem, big problem.
Yeah.
They do not understand. They do not understand that whether they are one, at least they are one. They do not understand that they can't do anything, but at least they can do something. So they have to understand that, and they have to volunteer. There has to be such teaching in the family, by the parents or elders, and in the school as well.
Yeah, can I add, Poonam Didi?
Yes, well, Nandita.
Yeah. So I think there's a lot of emphasis on community and social activities in school. So we really cannot blame, I mean, a couple of good schools, not all schools, I mean. And they also, I mean, they're really looking for something that they get the children also get a lot of, you know, what is it called, credits or whatever, when they really want to get admissions. So the system is there. But I think as a culture and as a community, I don't have children to blame, but I have, I think, the elders to blame, because we put too much pressure on children that, you know, waste of time, your time in study. So right from school, the culture is there. But as parents or as seniors, the culture is not so encouraging towards volunteering activities. So I guess we need to create that culture amongst the older people, the elder people. And also we need to organize it a bit more. Right now it is just some NGOs who do, they get hold of some people. So as a community, we need to organize volunteering, and we need to highlight it as a great activity, which is not really, I mean, when people say I'm volunteering, people just think, oh, this person is free and has nothing better to do. So that kind of attitude, I think, should go away. And we have a whole lot of talent in terms of, I will say, house spouses, okay, who can really, you know, who can really spend their time volunteering, as it's so satisfying. But how many of them really come forward? That talent is so much there. And I'm using the words very gender unbiased. I'm saying house spouses. There are a whole lot of them who can really spend their time and give that time to volunteering. But it's not taken as a culture that, okay, you're doing anything great. So we need to create that culture. That is what I feel.
Thank you, Nandita. Anybody else who'd like to contribute? I'll give you an example. My daughter was studying at a college in the US, and every course that she took had a component of civic engagement. Didn't call it volunteering, they called it civic engagement. So if you're studying a course, what is the application of what you're learning within the community within which the college is situated, or you're situated, or you live? So for instance, she was taking a course on crime and law. And why is there a rise in crime rates in a certain population? And this college arranged for her to go and teach a course at a local prison, which housed young men between the ages of 18 and 24. My daughter was 19 at that time, and she went to teach a course in a prison where all the inmates were young men between the ages of 18 and 24. No other student from her class took up this volunteering assignment because they were afraid of going to a prison, because there was so much sense of fear. ये लोग हमें क्या कर देंगे, हमको मार देंगे. अरे, they are under supervision, they are in a jail, they can't do anything to you. They are grateful for the fact that you come to visit them, that you share your knowledge with them. She eventually finished this whole course on teaching them creative writing. And they said to her, this is the most meaningful, joyful, playful 2 hours of our entire week. We look forward to this so much, that you come here. And some of them didn't speak English very well. So she said, okay, you can write in Spanish. Because the effort was on their trying to be creative when they are being punished. They're living in a jail, they are being punished. They are constantly obsessed by the fact that they are being dehumanized, they're being excluded from society, they are being punished. Some of them were held there for crimes or allegations of crime that they had not even committed. Others said, yes, I did commit this crime. I did pick a pocket. I did molest somebody. I did do this. I'm sorry about it, but how can I do things differently? And giving expression to their creativity, regardless of the quality of what they wrote or spoke, was a relief from their torture in prison. And this was voluntary. This counted towards the grade that the student would get for that course. How effective were you in this effort? And thereafter it became a habit for her that every course that she took, she would take that knowledge outside and volunteer to make a difference, whether it is with after school activities for children in middle school, how to clean up public gardens, how to plant seeds to grow vegetables, how to learn to cook with vegetables. In America, you'll be surprised to know that nobody buys vegetables if they're poor. They just buy cans of vegetables or cans of whatever, and they just eat out of a can or cook very little. So if they were growing vegetables, they didn't know what to do with these vegetables. So they had to be taught कि टमाटर का क्या कर सकते हैं. They only know how to use ketchup or a can of tomato. If you give them a tomato, they don't know what to do with it. They don't even know how it tastes. So to teach them what all can be done with the tomatoes that you grow was a huge discovery for them. How readily they grow, how beautifully they grow, how attractive they are, how tasty they are, what fun you can have with tomatoes. I mean, this became her volunteer activity. So volunteerism doesn't have to do with doing an activity that needs you to sacrifice. It can be a lot of fun, after school activities of children doing theater, or just organizing games for children when their parents are working and the children are at home by themselves. I mean, there is no limit to the kind of thing that one can ask our young people to volunteer with, for their benefit as well as for the benefit with whom they volunteer. Okay, sorry, I should not be proselytizing and saying wonderful things about my daughter, but anybody else? I have a comment here from Arundhati who says, Shana, can we put the spotlight on Arundhati? She would like to say something.
Yeah. I guess the spotlight works only when someone turns their video on. Sarandati Didi, may you please?
Slight lesson in social media. You need to unmute yourself and then Shana will put the spotlight on you. Arundhati, can you please do that?
She needs to switch on her video.
Arundhati, is your video on? Sending a message. I'm not sure. While I figure this out, I think she's not able to switch on her video. Anybody else who would like to speak, who I can call on, who hasn't spoken so far? Projna Mitra, are you here?
Arundhati has given a comment which we read out.
In the chat.
Okay, go ahead.
Yeah, Shana, would you like to read out?
Yeah, sure. Families or parents haven't yet digested the fact that there are several types of careers and avenues in life nowadays. So the concern of getting into a safe profession adds onto the pressure on children and students. The ever-rising cutoffs makes things worse for children to pursue their dreams and wishes. As a byproduct, many do not even discover their own passion because, frankly speaking, all organisms are altruistic by nature. That virtue is slowly suppressed and people are mounted with pressure. From personal experience, I have seen students join coaching institutes like Fiji from class 6 for getting a seat in IIT after they pass class 12. How will such kids find space and time for fun and volunteering activities?
Anybody able to answer this very provocative question from Arundhati? I would say that, colleges and institutions of higher learning should put a premium on volunteering. It should be one of the things that counts towards your points for admission, so that we reward volunteerism rather than uh, grades and competitive standing in exams. We have to show a well-rounded personality of a student rather than just their grades. I see that Nandita's raising a hand. Would you like to speak, Nandita?
No, I didn't raise my hand in that. Yeah, but you are just saying what I was also saying, Poonam Devi, that there are actually good schools which have what is called CAS, community and social activities. So they really do this in their schooling. But I don't know, after schooling, again, the pressure of getting into the top-notch institutes and the pressure of, earning after that all takes volunteering away once they are out of school. So I guess it is we need to bring that culture in the seniors also, not just in the school kids, which we are putting it through the school, but as a community we need to encourage that kind of thing. Yeah.
And as colleges and universities, we need to reward that kind of activism. Let's just not look at their grade sheets or their mark sheets. Let's also look at the composite personality of the student that has applied, and what will that student's experiences in volunteering bring to the college experience.
Right. Absolutely.
Anybody else who would like to speak? Is there anybody who has had experience in rewarding volunteer experiences of young people?
You want to add something?
We are talking about ourselves as volunteers, but have we recognized volunteerism as a value in society in order to enhance it, to encourage it? Anybody have that kind of experience?
In our college, it used to happen. I mean, through social service scheme, we used to go to the marginalized community and do our services, and also blood donation, etc., in the form of being volunteer. Without that, we were not supposed to get clearance certificate. So in our college, it was there.
So what happened to that practice? Why was it there in the past and it isn't there now?
See, that was in the college where I used to study. I think it is still there.
Okay.
I think such kind of, activities added in me that kind of attitude to do volunteering as much as possible. And I do.
That's right. And how did the college recognize that or acknowledge that or reward that? Were there prizes for something?
Yes, certificate, medals, and also, clearance. Clearance was not given to those who were there in the social service scheme without putting their efforts. I mean, they were not supposed to sit in the examination and give their exam without doing this activity. It was strictly yes to this, service.
Okay. I mean, that can be punitive, and people will cheat and produce fake certificates of volunteering.
No, the teacher used to accompany. The teacher was there. The teacher was assigned. The professor was assigned. I mean, to keep the eyes and keep the progress report with her.
Okay. That's good. That's good. So those of us who are in education, we need to bring these practices back because they seem to have receded into the background. And what Pratul was saying about the selfish gene is gaining more and more prominence, and the unselfish gene is becoming weaker. We need to reverse this trend.
You see, we used to have
Sana,
NSS also, National Service Scheme, NSS, like
that's
NCC.
right.
So NSS used to give certificates. If you attend
Right.
some, such social work or something like that, they were awarding a certificate to you.
Yeah.
And in
I
addition to
mean, in
that,
certain countries, there is a mandatory national service scheme. In Korea, you have to serve for 2 years. In Burma, you have to serve for 2 years. In Israel, you have to serve for 2 years um, um at a certain stage in your life. All young people have to commit to a 2-year service that they are assigned to, and they have a choice in what they're good at or what they would like to volunteer as. In India, we have so much unemployment, so much youth potential going totally to waste. Why have we not mobilized a national service scheme? And we always talk about it as a national service in the military. Why does it have to be in the military? We have enough jawans and soldiers, and militaries always lead to violence. We need social service schemes that are promoted by society in all aspects of our national life. Shana, would you like to speak of your experience as a volunteer?
Yes, Auntie. I actually don't have enough experience as a volunteer. Not a real volunteer who helps other people. I have had a small experience in my school, which is about not helping other people, but helping small students. Like when we used to have exhibitions, synergies, we used to have, like, we will be helping the teacher and helping the teacher to volunteer the students. We used to have small stalls in the exhibition, which used to act as a fun, like sometimes games, sometimes food stalls, etc. So in that way, we used to help the teachers of our school manage the small kids. That is not really called a volunteer of which we're talking now, but that was a term given to a volunteer. I must say this is just a small time type of a volunteer. But when it is about a real volunteer who is helping other people all around the world, I have not yet had experience, but I would really like to have one.
Sweetheart, what you are doing for Xena today, you're volunteering. Hello?
Yeah.
Hello?
That's true. That's true. That's absolutely true.
You are volunteering your time and energy and expertise. We could not have had this meeting without you. Get used to the fact you are volunteering.
Thank you so much.
Pratyusha, would you like to say something in your experience of encouraging young people to volunteer and the kind of response that you've got?
Me?
Yes.
Yeah. Actually, you see, when I was in intermediate science college Patna, at that time we had two options. I mean, you can't, you must take either NCC or NSS. So that was a prerequisite for appearing in the exam. So that type of, I like that type of idea. And I was member of both NCC as
Oh,
well as
wow.
NSS.
Okay.
So from whenever there was an opportunity to work for social work and all that through NSS, I used to participate. So I mean, at that time, my friends also, many of them were very enjoying this, and they really doing such type of work. They used to feel proud of it. But those things are, I don't think those are there now. Nowadays, those are gone.
Why is that?
Again, because of the change scenario, people, the young generation, I think the parents are not interested in these things, and the curriculum also doesn't cover, make it essential. Some schools by their own, in fact, what I find that the convent schools where there's some amount of, is still left. They are still doing it. But if you go to any public school, I don't find, unfortunately. Nowadays, earlier it used to be there, but nowadays it's not. So out of maybe some, religious this thing, influence or whatever, people are doing something there.
Anybody else has experience in recruiting volunteers for a project they're working on?
Now the problem is that if you collect some funds for doing some social work, the social work won't be done, but that fund will be misused for many other purposes. And people will be interested in becoming the president and this and that of that organization, and that whatever money is collected, asserting that whole thing. So such things are going on.
So how does money get involved in this? I thought volunteerism or civic service was without money. Why collect money?
You see, without money, no, sometimes you need money. So if you collect money, people become interested in that.
So it's become another venue for corruption.
Yeah, everywhere. Go to any society, for example. I am living in this, my society is there, this my residence. Here also elections are taking place for RWA, Resident Welfare Association, whatever you call. Lot of, blaming each other for, corruption and all that is taking. Because we pay a huge amount of maintenance charges. And definitely something is going on. So here people they are like that. They are not interested in really doing service to the people. They are interested in asserting money and all. Everywhere the same thing is. If you go for puja, you collect money for puja. You see, for making pandal or whatever. Whatever money is something you will do, definitely you will do. But some money will be saved. That money, they will show some bogus expenditure here and there, and drink wine or alcohol out of that. So
Yes.
these things are going on.
I guess
So that's why I'm telling that we have to do a lot of things if we want. Okay, we can't fight everybody, but something definitely needs to be done at the ground level, at the root level, where the rot is there. We have to remove that rot. Then only the it will prosper. The tree will grow nicely.
Yeah. Yeah. I see that some people are leaving. I don't want people to leave as though this is not an integral and important part of the conversation. From my point of view, this is the most important part of the conversation because here we are thrashing out ideas for implementation in the future. I'm gonna call on, is Projna Mitra there? Sorry, is that Shana asking to speak?
No, I was saying that I guess Projna Mitra auntie wants to speak something.
Yes, please put the spotlight on her. Projna, would you put on your video?
Yes, can you hear me?
Yes.
Yeah, thank you
Yes.
for giving me the opportunity to speak. I want to make sure that everybody can hear me.
Yes,
we can hear you. Okay, so wonderful. Yes, this particular topic of volunteerism is very close to my heart because here in Canada, everything is almost based on volunteerism. For example, like my daughter, Malaika, who is closer to Shana's age, she has volunteered almost 600, more than 600 hours in old age homes, in like universities. She has volunteered to work as, what do you call it? Professor's assistant in very research oriented things. And she has done it totally on a volunteer basis. And even now she is volunteering as something of some organization. I'm sorry, I don't know the details. It's something to do with environment and pollution. So volunteering is a very big thing. I myself haven't volunteered as such because I never got the opportunity, but volunteering as a culture is very prevalent in Canada. I'm not sure about India because I have been out of India for such a long time, but in school, to graduate from 12th class, it is mandatory to volunteer somewhere. I can hear some background noises. Can somebody please mute
Yeah.
themselves? Because I can hear a lot of noise.
I've muted everyone.
Yeah. So in Canada, you cannot graduate school if you don't volunteer somewhere. Like it is a mandatory thing. You have to show yourself as a productive, non-selfish individual in the society before you can call yourself a graduate of high school. I'm talking about only high school level. So I was very impressed by this culture when I came here. Like, it is not just academics that you should be concerned about. What about doing good for the society? Like, if everybody thinks of going to great universities, what about the rest? How is the society going to be uplifted as a whole? So this culture of empathy and volunteerism, which I saw after coming to Canada through my daughters, I was really like absolutely floored because I have never seen anything like this anywhere. Like here, the society as a whole, it works to uplift others. Like it is, the more you volunteer, the better you are seen as. Like your achievements are how much you have volunteered, not what grades you have earned. So that is very, very important. If you have volunteered so many hours when you were a student in school, you are given admission very easily in a university because they want such members in the society to come up who think about others and who don't think only about themselves. So I feel that's how a country progresses and that's how a society progresses. And here there are goodwill stores where you can donate your clothes, you can donate. The culture of donation is also very prevalent. And Canada takes in so many refugees and people who come from war-torn countries. So, and the people who live here, they go and donate their time, their money, resources, everything to such displaced people. So I totally believe in volunteering. In fact, I had tried to volunteer in the past when my dad was an MP in Ranaghat, but I was not given the opportunity. I would have really, I mean, there's nothing more I would have loved to do than to come and help the poor and build villages and hospitals and whatnot. And I also had the expertise, but I was not given the opportunity. That's a different thing. But yes, that time I really wanted to. Now, I don't know. Now things have changed. So yes, I totally believe in volunteering, and I feel that young people like Shana, if they imbibe the spirit of volunteerism rather than watching all these stuff which the media feeds in terms of our other industry, that will really help, especially a country like India, where it is the youth who needs to be non-selfish, but it's not possible always. So if this spirit is encouraged, if, for example, there are marks for, okay, you have volunteered so many hours, so you will get so many marks. Doesn't matter how much you got in physics, chemistry, maths, biology. That's what I'm trying to say. Like, how good are you as a person? Who cares how good you are academically, other than your own family member? Is it actually going to help your poorer neighbors? No. But if you volunteer, then it will help. So the good of the society, I feel, is more important than individual good. Like, I'm not trying to propagate any socialist mentality, but I feel like in times of crisis, It's your neighbors who come to help you, not some remote politician sitting somewhere and making policies, right? So it has to
Prajna,
percolate to the basic society, like at the roots, like from everywhere. It's not only for poor, rich, middle class. Everybody should volunteer if they can. And it should be
Prajna, what
encouraged.
part of Canada are you based in? Is it
I am in
what you're
Toronto.
doing? Is this spirit of volunteerism prevalent across Canada?
Everywhere. I can't say about Alberta and other provinces, but I'm quite sure it is like that everywhere.
Yeah, that's been my experience in the US as well. All the states that I've lived in, all the states where my daughter went to
Yes,
school.
in US
this
also
is-
I have experienced this. I have lived in US too, and I have experienced this. I have experienced it everywhere else but in India. I had gone to US very young, and I have experienced. I used to feel that, oh my God, everybody loves everybody else so much. Like I could feel the collective love when I came to US for the first time from India, without knowing much about the US culture. I found the people to be really nice and helpful.
Unfortunately, the selfish gene is emerging in the West, in the US for sure. I don't know about Canada,
I
but
don't want to get into all that, but right now, even with their total selfishness, I'm not sure about US, but in Canada, like I still find it a very benevolent, very kinder place, you know.
yeah. Okay. On that note, let's move to the very last part of our meeting today. This is a vote of thanks on the part of Nisha Samuel. I hand over to Nisha. Wait, I should read her introduction. Nisha Samuel is the Delhi Bureau Chief of Global Eye Digital News Monthly. She has more than 3 decades teaching experience. She started her teaching journey in 1988 at St. Anne's School, New Delhi, and presently she teaches at St. Xavier's Senior Secondary School, New Delhi. Currently serving as in several roles as VP and members at various organization boards, including member of Public Grievance Commission, Government NCT of Delhi, Young Women's Christian Association of Delhi, the Diocesan Society Church of North India, Heaven's Homes Orphanage Society, Kanpur. Nisha has won several awards, including Mother Teresa Gaurav Award, Uday Samman, Swarna Kamal Award, Best Social Entrepreneur Award. And behind these awards, I'm sure there are hundreds, if not thousands and thousands of hours of volunteering. There could not be a better person to represent us in giving a vote of thanks for this event. Over to you, Nisha.
दो शब्द मैं पहले आप सबको कहूंगी। नमस्कार। आप लोगों का साथ पाकर मेरा मन, हम सबका मन ही एक दूसरे के लिए मुखरित हुआ। आप लोगों के स्नेह से अंतर्मन प्रफुल्लित हुआ। ऐसे बनते बिगड़ते हैं बहुत से रिश्ते इस जिंदगी में, मगर आप लोगों के साथ से ये बंधन बहुत पवित्र हुआ। ये मैंने अभी लिखा थोड़ी देर पहले।
धन्यवाद।
मैं आप लोगों को बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद कहती हूँ, और ये आखिरी का क्षण है जिसमें कि हम लोग सब एक दूसरे से विदा लेंगे। पर उससे पहले मैं धन्यवाद करना चाहती हूँ हमारी आज की एमसी पूनम दीदी के लिए, और मैं दीदी बोलूंगी क्योंकि उनका हमारा हम सबका एक प्यार है, एक फैमिली है ये ज़ेना। कोई दूर से, बहुत दूर नहीं है, हम बहुत क्लोज है एक दूसरे के लिए। बहुत धन्यवाद दीदी। एंड मैं धन्यवाद बोलूंगी शिवानी जी का। थैंक यू डॉक्टर प्रतुल कुमार चौधरी जी, थैंक यू मंजरी प्रियंका मंजरी जी, और थैंक यू स्वीट शैना। तुमने जितनी मेहनत करी है, और हमारे प्यारे मेंबर्स जो हमारे साथ जुड़े हैं, एनकरेज किया है, साथ में हैं, और दूर दराज से हमारे दोस्त जो हमारे बीच में हैं, अब वो भी हमारे फैमिली का हिस्सा है। हम सब एक फैमिली है, और फैमिली में जो भी बात होती है उसका कोई ना कोई रिजल्ट जरूर निकलता है, और हमने बहुत ढेर सी बातें करी है। अब मैं जो हूँ एक ही बात कहना चाहूंगी कि हमें इम्प्लीमेंट करना है, जो कि मैंने कहा है, पर अब मैं चाहती हूँ कि एक जागरूकता अभियान जो है ज़ेना स्टार्ट करेगा। बहुत जल्दी हर स्टेट में वॉलंटियर जो है वो करना है। अपने अपने स्टेट से हम सब साथ देंगे उसका, और जब हम बढ़ेंगे तो हकीकत में कि खुदा भी हमारा साथ देगा, वक्त भी हमारा साथ देगा, सरकार भी हमारा साथ देगी, हमारा दोस्त भी हमारा साथ देंगे। तो इसी के साथ मैं सबसे ज्यादा धन्यवाद आभार प्रकट करती हूँ हमारे प्यारे राजीव जी का। उनके बगैर तो कुछ भी संभव नहीं है। इसमें सब कुछ पिरोया, इस माला में जितने मोती पिरोए हैं उन्होंने पिरोए हैं, और उनका मैं बहुत धन्यवाद करती हूँ। ईश्वर उनको सलामत रखे और हम सबको फिर से मिलाए एक अच्छे विजन के साथ जो हमारा हमेशा रहा है। पर अब जागरूकता अभियान हमें शुरू करना है। मैं बिल्कुल अच्छी तरह बोल रही हूँ, अपना अपना स्टेट चुन लीजिए, अपना अपना साथी ढूंढ लीजिए। बहुत बड़ा है हमारा ज़ेना, बहुत लोग जुड़ चुके हैं, लिस्ट करिए और अपने साथी बनाइए, कम से कम 10 या 5। नाउ लेट्स स्टार्ट। थैंक यू सो मच। हैव अ नाइस।
मुझे एक बात बतानी है
जी
राजा, मैं कश्मीर से।
हाँ जी।
हमारी फिल्म 21 को रिलीज होगी, वो जहाद, मैंने भी उसमें थोड़ा रोल किया है, ग्रेवयार्ड टेकर।
ग्रेट।
हाँ
ओके,
हाँ,
गॉड ब्लेस यू।
तो क्योंकि मैं एक्टर भी हूँ, आपको पता ही है वो।
हमारी बेस्ट विशेस हैं आपके साथ। हम क्या
मस्तानी, मस्तानी OTT पे वो रिलीज होगी।
अच्छा अच्छा, ओके, हम सब देखेंगे और बिल्कुल हमारी शुभकामनाएं हैं आपके साथ। आज हमारे बहुत से 3 दोस्तों की फिल्म रिलीज हुई है, वो अभी उसमें बिजी हैं, मगर नेक्स्ट टाइम मैं उन्हें लेके आऊंगी। और जो है बस आप लोगों का साथ हमें चाहिए कि हम जो प्रोग्राम करते हैं एज अ स्टार कह लीजिए, एक्टर कह लीजिए, साथी कह लीजिए, आपका क्या कंट्रीब्यूशन होगा, अपने स्टेट में क्या होगा, सब वॉलंटियर करिए। आज का तो हमारा टॉपिक ही ये था। तो भाई टॉपिक खाली बात करने के लिए नहीं है, आप काम करने के लिए है।
सॉरी, मैं आज बिजी था क्योंकि हम रिहर्सल कर रहे हैं। परसों हमें मतलब शो है वो इंडियन आर्मी का, मैं वो उसका कोऑर्डिनेटर हूँ।
हमारी शुभकामनाएं हैं आपके साथ। मैं आप लोगों को सबको आभार व्यक्त करती हूँ आज के सुंदर समय के लिए और हमारे अपने साथियों के लिए। धन्यवाद।
थैंक यू।
Shall we play the anthem now? Sure. Is the screen visible to everyone? Yes.
सदस्य ज़ैना के हैं, ज़ैना परिवार हमारा, चारों ओर खुशी फैलाने का है अपना नारा। हम सदस्य ज़ैना के हैं, ज़ैना परिवार हमारा, चारों ओर खुशी फैलाने का है अपना नारा। कष्ट गरीबी दुख हरने का हम संकल्प उठाए, धरती को कुटुंब करने के लिए प्रयास बढ़ाए। कष्ट गरीबी दुख हरने का हम संकल्प उठाए, धरती को कुटुंब करने के लिए प्रयास बढ़ाए। हम सदस्य ज़ैना के हैं, ज़ैना परिवार हमारा, चारों ओर खुशी फैलाने का है अपना नारा। सबको रोजी रोटी हो और सबको हो खुशहाली, हो निर्बाध विचार भावना सदा सीखने वाली। सबको रोजी रोटी हो और सबको हो खुशहाली, हो निर्बाध विचार भावना सदा सीखने वाली। हम सदस्य ज़ैना के हैं, ज़ैना परिवार हमारा, चारों ओर खुशी फैलाने का है अपना नारा। दया क्षमा नैतिकता हो और हो सम्मान सभी का, सबको यूं अपना माने के दिल ना दुखे किसी का, दया क्षमा नैतिकता हो और हो सम्मान सभी का, सबको यूं अपना माने के दिल ना दुखे किसी का। हम सदस्य ज़ैना के हैं, ज़ैना परिवार हमारा, चारों ओर खुशी फैलाने का है अपना नारा। हम सदस्य ज़ैना के हैं, ज़ैना परिवार हमारा, चारों ओर खुशी फैलाने का है अपना नारा।
That is an excellent note on which to conclude. My sincere thanks to all the participants for a very vibrant conversation. Now let's end with conversations. Let's get on to action. 1, 2, 3, start. Thank you all. Good evening.